Hello and welcome back to Girl Ascending. Happy New Year. Obviously this is New Year as we kind of traditionally know it, but if you're not really kind of feeling the New Year vibes, obviously the astrological New Year will start in March with Aries as the first sign, so do not worry. I'm still really ill, everyone seems to be ill, so I've got my coffee, still kind of Christmassy themed. I feel so over Christmas now. I do not want to hear about Christmas anymore. So yes, we're doing a fresh start, but we're not doing New Year, New Me. We are doing New Year, same me, but better. So we're thinking about our best self. And obviously we're in Capricorn season, which helps us to really focus on career and goals and how we kind of want to show up for ourselves in the world. And we are obviously in Mercury retrograde at the moment as well. So if things are kind of maybe not progressing exactly how you would like, there we go, that is just that vibe. So I've got some decks ready. I also thought it would be nice to do like a little word of inspiration before we get into our readings and then see what cards we have coming up for each of the signs. Whoop, whoop, whoop. But before we do get started, I just want to say thank you so much to those of you who watch regularly, who comment, who give me great feedback. I really appreciate you all, and I really hope in 2023 to kind of grow the channel a bit more. So if there is anything that you would like to see or any requests, anything you would like to know more about, please do let me know in the comments below. Also as well, you can of course book a reading with me. My website is up on my Instagram, but if you don't follow me over there, I'll leave everything down below as well. So I'm gonna have some coffee, blow my nose, lovely, and then let's get started. Okay, so let's kick off by lighting our candle. Oh, this is the full moon in Cancer that we are reading for. And this is also sometimes known as the wolf moon. It's our first full moon of 2023. So let's see what we have coming up. So let's start, of course, with Aries. So let's see what inspirational words rather we have coming up for you. Let's have a little look. Let's see what we have coming up first. You know, it's the first new video of the year when everything goes a bit crazy. I think you'll probably hear the rain on top of my little witchy shed as well. It needs a better name than witchy shed, but we'll come to that another time. Right, let's see what words we have. Ooh, okay, so it says, the best and most beautiful things in the world cannot be seen or even touched. They can only be felt. I think that's a really nice way to start off the new year for Aries, because Aries placements can obviously be very fiery, very action orientated, and sometimes they get a bit lost in the way of doing something and lose kind of sight of the end goal. So it can be nice to just have a little reminder that the best things in life are things that we can't see or touch, like health, family, friends, etc. Okay, so let's see what the first card we have coming up for Aries is for the new year. Okay, let's have a look. We have the Emperor. Okay, so this is a great card for you, Aries, to come up straight away, because Aries rules the Emperor, so we're really seeing a lot of structure coming up for you as well. So as we're starting off this kind of new year period, we want to be thinking about how are we structuring ourselves, how are we structuring our life, and obviously being in Capricorn season as well, we need to be thinking about career. How is that coming in as well? Because with this kind of divine masculine energy, so divine energies obviously can apply to us whatever gender we are, but we're really thinking about that kind of masculine energy coming in strongly for you, Aries, which is really where Aries likes to be anyway. So we're thinking about structure and organization. How can we bring this into our life at the moment in order to improve things? And then let's see what we have from this particular deck. Let's see what other card we have coming up. And then we have the Five of Cups. So the Five of Cups is obviously a card about loss, but it's also a card about discovering what we're going to do after that loss. So let me just get our third card up and then we can get a bit deeper into our reading. Okay. So Rider-Waite-Smith, of course. Okay, let's see what is our final card for you, Aries. Okay, and then we have the Eight of Swords in the reverse. Okay, so Emperor, Five of Cups, Eight of Swords in the reverse, and we're really focusing on thinking about what we feel and how that is experienced for us, rather than necessarily looking at things from a materialistic sense. So we really want to be thinking about our divine masculine. How are we setting ourselves up as a leader, not necessarily just for other people, but also for ourselves? How are we taking ownership of that in our own lives? And when we have this Five of Cups card, so this deck, the Bad Bitches Tarot, actually illustrates it really nicely, because you can clearly see the cups that are spilled, but also the other cups that are still there, ready and waiting for us. So as we're kind of reevaluating ourselves, putting in some organisation and structure, we want to be aware of not only what we're letting go, but what we still have the potential to bring in. So if you have experienced a loss recently, or if things are feeling a bit hard or a bit difficult, this card is really encouraging you to see the positive side of things where possible. And especially with the Eight of Swords coming up in the reverse, so this is a card about setting ourselves free, but especially from mental prisons. So I think it can be quite easy sometimes to fall into negative habits of, you know, self-talk, and this card is really encouraging us not to do that. You know, we can see that this woman, this figure, is blindfolded and she's bound, but at the same time she's surrounded by all these sharp swords, sharp objects, reminding us that at any time she can set herself free, and that's really what we want to be trying to do. So when we're looking at all these cards for you, Aries, for the full moon, we really want to be thinking about obviously releasing areas where we're keeping ourselves stuck mentally from a mental perspective. We also want to be thinking about what is going well and releasing and letting go of what maybe has not been going so well, and we want to be putting in those boundaries and those structures in order to move forward more positively. So this is our this is our full moon spread for you, Aries. Okay, so now Taurus, let us see what cards we have coming up for you. So let us see first off which card we have coming for your little bit of inspiration and wisdom. Okay, so this card says I've got a cold. You'll never influence the world trying to be like it. And I think that is quite a good message really for Taurus placements, because Taurus can feel, you know, very sensual, very worldly, obviously being an earth sign, but sometimes Taurus can get a little bit caught up in the materialistic and kind of feeling how something looks externally or feels externally, rather than kind of following their own path. Sometimes a Taurus can be a little bit influenced by other influencers and what's going on around them. Okay, so a card has just flown out, as it always loves to do, and this is the Ace of Pentacles. Okay, and then let's see what cards we have coming from our other decks. Let me just leave these down here actually, so that we can try and reduce all these cards flying around. Okay, and then let's see what we have coming from the Bad Bitches Tarot deck for Taurus. We have the Three of Pentacles. So we've got Three of Pentacles, Two of Pentacle cards coming in already. So that's a lot of earth signs coming in for Taurus, and then this card has leapt out as well, so let's go with that. Oh wow, the 10 of Pentacles. Okay, so you've got Pentacles across the board for Taurus for this full moon, and this is a really nice way for you to start, Taurus, because obviously when we have an earthly placement and then all these cards are coming up in an earthly suit, that's kind of showing us that all of those, the first with Taurus placements, I have a Taurus moon, that we're very much in balance, and that this full moon we really want to be focusing on, especially in Capricorn season, how are we bringing forth our more materialistic values, especially when it comes to career. So the Ace of Pentacles is letting us know that there is going to be some kind of career opportunity. This could be something that maybe has already started or is certainly about to start for you, so you want to be on the lookout for that. And when we have the Three of Pentacles, we want to be thinking about how are we going to start off on this financial journey, how are we balancing that, how are we collaborating. The Three of Pentacles is really a card of collaboration. I don't know if you perhaps are familiar with the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, how this card appears in that deck, but you've got the three individuals, all clearly from different backgrounds, all working together to create a fresh plan. So we've got a new business opportunity coming up, and we want to be aware how we are going to create that plan of action by collaborating with others. And then of course the 10 of Pentacles coming in last. This is a card of legacy. So we want to be thinking about how are we putting in our financial structure, not just now, not just to create financial abundance in our life for 2023, but beyond that. You know, if we have dependents or family, even if we don't, we still want to be thinking about what is our personal legacy financially. How can creating more abundance for yourself then help you to help others, which I think is something that is not often discussed, but something that really kind of aligns well with a Taurus placement, because thinking about that kind of sensual, earthy, earth mother side, which can obviously apply to whatever gender, but that very kind of giving, fertile energy that Taurus has, we want to be thinking about not just how are we making money in abundance for ourselves, but then how can that lead on, you know, how can that then help people around us, friends, family, our community even. So that's really what we want to be thinking about with this full moon. What financial opportunities are coming our way? Who can we collaborate with to make the most of them? And then what is actually the final legacy that we want to see coming from this? So these are your cards, Taurus, for the full moon in Cancer. A little coffee break. Okay, so we're now coming on to Gemini. So let's see what advice the little inspiration cards have for Gemini. So we've got grow through what you go through. Okay, which is obviously great for the new year, because obviously growth is something that we can choose from a negative situation. So we can, every situation can either be a lesson or a blessing. We can always find room for growth to help us make the most of a situation. You know what I'm trying to say? I'm kind of waffling now. Okay, anyway, let's see what is the first card that we have coming up for Gemini. Okay, let's have a wee look. Okay, ooh, so we have the Five of Pentacles in the reverse. Okay, that's a card that we like to see come up in the reverse. In general, obviously, upright position cards give us a more positive message, but this is one of those cards where in the reverse, we're getting a bit of a stronger message, so that is great. And then with the Bad Bitches Tarot, we have the Nine of Wands, and then with the Rider-Waite-Smith, we have the... Who's this one? Ooh, Queen of Pentacles. Oh no, Queen of Pentacles coming upright. I was putting it down the wrong way. Okay, so let's unpack this a little bit more for Gemini. So the Five of Pentacles in the reverse, this suggests to me, Gemini, that maybe at the end of last year, you were starting to feel either a period of ill health or some degree of financial lack. And that can be something that happens a lot at the end of the year, because we have bills coming in, credit card statements, all that good stuff. And also with Christmas, if you were spending a bit too much on Christmas, you may have been feeling that there was a period of more money going out than coming in. But this card coming up in the reverse is definitely suggesting for this full moon, you're going to be coming into a greater period of abundance from a financial perspective. And then when we look at the Nine of Wands, this is really suggesting to me as well that you've been going through it. You have been going through some really difficult stuff. Because we're in Capricorn season, it suggests to me that this is probably something financial, but obviously we have the full moon in Cancer, so it could equally be something from an emotional standpoint as well. But coupled with the Five of Pentacles, which is a card really about sort of lack from either a health or financial perspective, with these two cards coming up together, I would suggest that either it's a period of ill health that you have come through or a period of financial loss. But these cards are suggesting to me that you are pushing through it, you have come through it, and certainly with this full moon, things are going to start to feel a lot better, especially with the Queen of Pentacles coming up as well. So this is a lovely card that has that Empress energy, really a lovely earthy energy, where it suggests that things are starting to flourish, things are starting to grow. Obviously we're moving through the winter time now. Yule has come to an end, and as we go through into the new year, we're really starting to see things grow and progress. And when this card comes up, I don't know if you can see it, I'll try and point it out. So it's a tiny little rabbit illustrated just at the base of her throne. So if you are a Gemini or a Gemini placement who is looking to extend your family, this is a card that often can indicate that there is maybe a pregnancy on the way, or a new pet is coming, or something where you the numbers in your family are going to increase and grow. So that is an absolutely lovely omen to start off the new year with. And when we have these two cards coming in together, this idea of growing through what you're going through, everything comes out in the end. It's the symbol from the universe that everything is going to come through for you in the end, so that you will feel a period of release and of celebration. And even though you've been through something difficult, something traumatic, there is something better waiting for you at the end. So these are your cards for Gemini for the full moon in Cancer. Okay, so we're moving on now to our cards for Cancer for the full moon in Cancer. So we are aligning with that energy. So let's see what card you have coming up for you. Okay, so this card says nothing changes if nothing changes, which is quite self-evident, but this is already making me think that we're going to see some cards about really releasing and change, which would be very appropriate for your full moon. So let's see what cards we have coming up. So we'll go to the Tinseltown Tarot deck first. Oh, always a card telling me how to use the deck. Thank you very much. Right, let's see what we have coming up for you, Cancer. Okay, so we have the Seven of Pentacles in the reverse. And then let's see what we have coming up for the Bad Bitches Tarot. We have the King of Wands. And then with the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, we have... Actually, no, this card is calling to me more. We have, the Six of Swords. Me unable to read a Roman numeral, brilliant. Okay, so let's have a look at what we have coming up for you, Cancer. So the Seven of Pentacles in the reverse is really letting us know that perhaps you've had a bit of a money block, and this suggests to me that maybe this has been going on for a while now. And although you kind of have periods where financially you feel on top of things and things are going well, it always kind of seeps back to this feeling of lack, that you never seem to have enough money to do that ultimate goal that you want to do. So when we're thinking about this full moon, we really want to be releasing any negative stories that we're telling ourselves around money, any limiting beliefs that we may have, and kind of really look at ourselves, do our rebudgeting and decide, okay, what is it about my finances that are holding me back, that are stopping me from achieving that big financial goal that I want to get to. And especially with the King of Wands, so this is about really taking control of our creative energy. So the King of Wands has a very strong masculine energy behind it, of course, and we're really trying to think about, okay, what is this creativity, this spark that I'm feeling? Where can I put that? How can I use that in order to progress forward in my career and in my finances? So this would suggest to me that you have an idea, maybe it's for a business or a brand, or even something that you just want to move forward with in your career. Maybe it could be progressing at the job you're currently in, a promotion, something that you haven't gone for, that the universe is really saying to you, okay, I think you really need to look at this again in order to receive the blessing that is out there waiting for you. You have to stop standing in your own way. And certainly with the Six of Swords, so this is a card about transition, and it's transitioning away from something more challenging to something better. So we can see on the card that there's the turbulent water. So there we go, turbulent water on this side, and then on this side obviously we have the smoother water, and we can see a lovely, you know, lush background that we are traveling towards. So both of these cards coming together, that nothing changes as nothing changes, that there is going to be some period of change. Try not to burn myself with the candle. There's some period of change is coming for you, and then it's up to you to kind of accept that transitional period. So when we're looking at all these cards together, especially with that emotional energy of Cancer with the full moon, which is amplified if you have Cancer placements, we really want to be thinking about doing our budgeting, thinking about how we are looking at our finances going into the new year, and really assessing it from a career perspective as well, because obviously it is much easier to make money than it is to save money. So we really want to be thinking about how are we using our talents, especially our creative talents. Now, creative doesn't necessarily mean a creative industry. It can also mean just what is your core skill and how can you creatively find ways to earn more money using that. And then to be prepared that this will involve a period of transition. So obviously this card does denote movement, so it may be moving away from a certain industry into another industry, or maybe from one job into another. And we really want to be open to those periods of change. Okay, so these are your cards. Sorry, I think I burnt myself with the candle. Always a witchy problem, burning yourself with the candle. Anyway, so for you Cancer, for the full moon in Cancer, we really want to be thinking about taking control of our finances, thinking more creatively around the ways that we are currently making money, and not being afraid of change. Okay, so Moving on from Cancer, we are now coming to Leo. So let's see what advice we have for Leos from our little advice inspiration deck. And it says, don't let the fear of what could happen stop anything from happening. And that, I think, is a very wise statement, because often we kind of think that if we're not doing something that we're protecting ourselves from getting hurt, whereas in fact we're blocking potential blessings that could be coming our way out of fear. So we don't want to be doing that. So let us see what cards we have coming up. Okay, so we'll do the Tinseltown Tarot first. Who have we got? So let's have a look. Okay, so we've got the Six of Wands. And then with the Bad Bitches Tarot, we have got a card jumping up already. So let's see who she is. Six of Cups, okay, and then Waiter Smith. I don't know why I say it like that. I think it's probably because of saying Sarah Jane Smith so much anyway. If you don't know who that is, yes, never mind. Anyway, moving on. Ooh, and we have that. I'm picking this up, so we've got the Hierophant in the reverse as well. Okay, so let us have a little look. So this card, Leo, for you is really encouraging us on the full moon to not be afraid to take those chances as we're moving forward in life. So this could be from a relationship as well as career, but obviously being in Capricorn season, we are thinking more about a career business standpoint. So when we have the Six of Wands, this is kind of suggesting to me in the upright position that we're kind of feeling maybe a little bit stuck in where we're going, that there are some options open to us, but we're also a bit afraid of the conflict that can come with it. Now normally a Leo placement is not overly afraid of conflict. As a fire sign, Leos are often probably the most outgoing in terms of a social sense within the fire signs. Obviously we have Sagittarius as well, who are optimistic and able to mix with a lot of people, but Leo has that kind of leadership energy, so often doesn't feel too held back by any kind of negativity and conflict. But I'm definitely feeling that with this emotional full moon, that for you, those of you with Leo placements, that you are feeling some element of conflict, both externally and also internally as well, with the Six of Cups. Now the Six of Cups is a card of choices, so at the moment there could be a few different options open to you career wise or financially wise, and it's about thinking, okay, where do I want to put myself in order not only to make, say, the most money, but also to feel the most at peace, the happiest within myself? What can I do for myself in order to feel that kind of peace and balance that we're all really looking for, especially after the last few years, which have been quite turbulent. You know, for 2023, we really want to be looking for that balance and that harmony. And with the Hierophant coming up in the reverse, this is definitely suggesting to me that there is a sense of spiritual disconnection. So perhaps you are moving towards a career or a path because you feel beholden to it. So it could be something that your family has wanted for you, or it could even be something that you have studied for or worked towards for a long time, and you feel that because you've put in that effort and that time, that you then can't pivot away from it and that you need to stay in that career path. But I would definitely say that the cards are encouraging you to not feel held back by previous decisions. You know, a lot of the industries that we work in now, there are you know, we all have that ability to kind of pivot a little bit and use a lot of these skills across a wider variety of industries, especially with the rise of working from home as well. So with this initial card coming up as well, you know, that we want to not be paralyzed by our own fear. We don't want to just do nothing because we're afraid of making the wrong choice, because in order to make the right choice, often we have to make a couple of wrong choices along the way to figure out where we're going. So for you, Leo, on this full moon, I would say to try and move away from having that inner conflict with yourself, or if there is some degree of conflict going on, maybe write about it, journal. Obviously there's the Girl Ascending Daily Tarot Journal, which you can pick up as well. The link, I'll leave the link below. But when you're kind of in that period of inner conflict, you want to unpack it a little bit more, maybe put your thoughts down on paper and just try and see what it is that you want. And when you're in a period of indecision, when there's lots of choices, which is, you know, a great position to be in many ways, to have lots of options and lots of choices, in order to make the one that feels most aligned for you, you know, make that choice. Don't just do nothing, you know, because that is not going to protect you or take you anywhere in the long run. You have to make a decision, and don't be afraid, you know, to look for more help, to speak to someone else about it. The Hierophant often indicates a teacher, a teaching card, so perhaps there is an element where you haven't been taking other people's advice, you've been very headstrong, as Leo placements often are, and you haven't really taken any advice on it. But this card is really encouraging you to take advice if needs be, in order to help you make that decision. So these are your cards for you, Leo, for the full moon in Cancer. We are now moving on to Virgo. Let's see what message we have for you. And it says, be somebody who makes everybody feel like somebody. That feels incredibly Virgo to me anyway, to start off with. Virgo is that very maternal, earthly placement where it's not about gender, but it's that feeling where Virgos are very nurturing and nourishing, and often are those people in the friendship group who are the designated driver, or they're always the one that texts everyone to make sure they get home okay. So that feels very, very on brand for Virgo. And let's see what we have coming up for the Tinseltown Tarot. Let's see what we have for you. Does the card want to come out? Okay, so we've got the Nine of Cups in the reverse. And then with the Bad Witches Tarot, let's see where we have our card. Why can't I pick cards up? My fingers are too cold. Oh, we have the Seven of Wands. And then let's have a look for Rider-Waite-Smith. We have, gosh, the rain's really heavy now. Oh, we have the High Priestess in the reverse. Okay, so when we're thinking about these cards for you, Virgo, what I'm seeing is that there is the potential for a bit of materialism creeping in as we're thinking about our goals for 2023, especially being in Capricorn season. However, I'm not necessarily picking up on energy that this is a negative. Rather, I'm seeing that you are really in your luxurious Virgo best. Even though this is not your season or the full moon is not in your sign, I'm definitely feeling that you are aligning very well with this emotional side of Cancer, and that you're really enjoying that's the fruits of your labours, you know, that sensation of, yes, I've worked hard for it, I've, you know, done my best for the last few years, and now I'm reaping those rewards. And what I'm seeing with the Seven of Swords is that there may be other people around you who are maybe a little bit jealous or pushing back against you. Perhaps it could be family who think that they're doing the right thing, who maybe think that you are over luxuriating, overspending, or they may just be jealous that you have worked for something that they have not worked for, and they are seeing your success, but they're not necessarily supporting you in the right way. So I would say on this full moon to maybe have a think of who are the people around you, who are you surrounding yourself with, and what are they actually bringing to the table. You know, are these people that you actually want to be around, or are they just hangers on, for want of a better term? And when we have the High Priestess coming up in the reverse, this is suggesting that there is some kind of spiritual disconnection going on. But I'm not feeling for you, Virgo, on this full moon that this is necessarily an actual fact. What I'm feeling more is that you have been in such a spiritual place for such a long time, and you've really done that inner work, that you've almost come to the end of a cycle of needing to do it. So at the moment you are able to, oh sorry, my cold is horrible, sorry. At the moment you're really enjoying yourself and enjoying that kind of earthly pleasure, as it were, and you're not needing to dig so much into that spiritual side. But on the full moon, this is always a reminder to release and let go of any stale or stagnant emotions. But I'm definitely feeling that as we're going into 2023 with this first full moon, that Virgos are definitely feeling that they are living their best life, being their best selves, and being positive for those around them. But you just obviously, as with any friendship group, you always want to be a bit careful about who you're surrounding yourself with and what their agenda is. You don't want to be giving so much of yourself to others if that's not a reciprocal energy that you aren't necessarily getting back. But these are our cards for Virgo for the full moon in Cancer. Okay, so next we have Libra. So let us see what your message from the universe is. Let's have a little look. Okay, so this is a long one. So it's saying, if you want something you've never had, you've got to do something you've never done. Aha, so this is suggesting that for you, Libra, on this full moon, that you're going to have to push yourself a bit out of your comfort zone. So let us have a look what we have coming up from the Tinseltown Tarot. Let's see what card we have coming up. Okay, so we have got, oh gosh, the cards don't want to come out. Ah, we've got the Fool. Okay, so these cards are already aligning quite nicely together. And then with the Bad Bitches Tarot, let's see what we have coming up. We have all these lovely cards sticking together. Let's see if I can get the bottom one out. Ah, we have the Five of Swords in the reverse. And then we have With Rider-Waite-Smith, we have the Knight of Wands. Okay, so when we're taking these cards together for you, Libra, this is suggesting to me, obviously, with the Fool, that there needs to be a fresh start for you, but it's more than just a fresh start, it's a leap of faith. And with this, obviously, little message that we've had from the universe saying, you know, if you want to get somewhere different, you've got to do something different. This card of the Fool is really encouraging you to take that chance. So what do you want? How are you going to get there? What have you not been doing that you could do to try and get yourself there? So it's very much that kind of thing of, if you want to make a career change, you have to constructively think about, okay, what am I doing differently in order to get myself to that position? You know, if I want to find a new partner, I need to actively get myself out there and meet new people and put myself in the position to be available to someone new. So that's really the energy that we're bringing in. With the Five of Swords in the reverse, this is suggesting to me that perhaps in the past you've had some conflict within friendship groups or within close family members. This could even be something that maybe happened over Christmas, some kind of interpersonal relationship argument. But with this full moon, the Five of Swords in the reverse is really encouraging you to release any negative, bitchy energy. To me, Libra as a placement has that kind of Regina George element, and I don't mean that as a read in any way. What it is kind of saying to me is that Libras are very, they like to look good, to be seen to be on top. You know, Cardi B is a Libra, that kind of thing of they never ever want to lose face, but sometimes losing face is an important part of our own personal growth as well. So I would say, if you can, depending on what it was, let go of any arguments or negativity, because that is not going to help you as you move forward into 2023. And certainly with the Knight of Wands, we've got a bit of masculine energy coming in, obviously with the Knight, and we can see very clearly from this card that there is a forceful energy moving you forward, a creative energy, and we really want to be thinking, okay, how am I moving myself forward? We've got the Fool coming in telling us that we've got to make a change, we've got to try something different in order to get somewhere new. And obviously in Capricorn season, we want to be thinking about career, work opportunities. So what could you be doing differently in order to reach where you want to go next in your career? And we want to be letting go of any gossipy energy as well. We don't want to be doing that. And that can happen sometimes in a workplace environment, but we really don't want to be feeding into office gossip. We want to be staying on our own path, staying true to ourselves in order to create the best abundance for us as we go into 2023. So these are your cards, Libra, for the full moon in Cancer. Now we're moving on to Scorpio. Let's see what your message is. Everything is within me. Well, that feels very on brand for Scorpio, who generally as a sign have obviously got that hard shell with the sting in the tail. They're not afraid to withdraw and have a bit of time on their own to figure stuff out. So let's see what cards we have coming up for Scorpio. Okay, so we have got the Ace of Cups, and then we have got the Ace of Wands. Ooh, double ace, okay. And then we have also got, ooh, this card just jumped out, so we're going to go with this one, the Six of Pentacles. My cards go bonkers sometimes, that full moon vibe. Okay, so we've got the Ace of Cups, Ace of Wands, and the Six of Pentacles. So for you, Scorpio, I would definitely say that with this full moon in Cancer, first full moon of the year, you are feeling that emotional overflow, and especially being a water sign as well, I would encourage you, Scorpio, to let go of any stale pent-up emotions. Perhaps something happened over the holiday season that was a bit stressful, a bit upsetting. Maybe you just need to feel that period of release because maybe you're making progress in your life in some areas but not in others. I think for Scorpio placements, sometimes relationships can be a bit more challenging, not because there's anything wrong with Scorpios obviously, but more because Scorpios feel things very deeply. So when they are hurt or betrayed, it can take a Scorpio placement a long time to kind of recover from that, and Scorpios are often drawn to a darker side in a relationship. You know, they're not afraid to delve deeply or try out new things, so sometimes it can take a lot for a Scorpio to be releasing any pent-up emotions, but with the full moon I would definitely encourage you to do that. And also with the Ace of Wands, this has given me quite a strong sexual energy, of course. This card is not quite as phallic as the one that we have in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, but it's definitely that kind of energy of you know, allowing yourself to fully embody your sexual power. And when we're thinking about our sexual power, that doesn't actually need to involve another person. It doesn't even need to involve any sexual activity at all. If you think about what sexual activity is at its core, that sexual energy, it is creation. So if you're feeling kind of a bit pent up emotionally, that things maybe are not progressing well in dating or in relationships, or you're having like a bit of a push-pull in that area of your life, I would definitely say release those emotions regardless. Don't let them build up. Don't, you know, drag yourself down with negative self-talk, and instead think about how you can use that energy to create something better, even if it means a better version of yourself. And with this card coming up, the Six of Pentacles, this is a card of charity, as we can see, and whenever this card comes up in this kind of a context on a full moon, it always makes me think that the energy that's really being given out to Scorpio placements is that you need to get yourself out into the world, to start meeting other people, and to really think about how can you use your energies to do more. How can you do more with it, basically? Because often, especially for water signs, we can be a bit more introverted. I say we, I have a Pisces sun, but what we want to be thinking about is how can we get ourselves out in the world in a way that doesn't feel too exposing. Because for Scorpio, exposing themselves, especially if you have Scorpio in your big three, can feel too much, and they can want to revert even more, especially at this very dark time of year. So with this spread coming up for you, Scorpio, for the full moon in Cancer, I would definitely encourage you to kind of look within, release any pent-up emotions, think about how you want to create yourself, recreate yourself, rebirth, as we obviously start off the new year, and kind of think about how you can get out and about in your local community, or how you can be of service to others in order to strengthen and encourage interpersonal relationships in your life. So these are your cards, Scorpio, for the full moon in Cancer. Okay, so we're moving on now to Sagittarius. Let's see what your little message from the universe is. Let us see. The cards are saying, if it doesn't challenge you, it won't change you. Okay, well, Sagittarius love a challenge. They love to be on the move and doing new stuff. So let's see if the cards are going to support that energy as well. Let's have a wee look. So we have, what card do we have coming up? Oh, we have the Seven of Wands. And then we have the, ooh, the Hierophant in the reverse. And then we have the Two of Pentacles. Okay, so when we're thinking about this for you, Sagittarius, what we're thinking about is that perhaps there has been a period of conflict over the festive season that has kind of given rise to you wanting to move on from it, done with it, over it. You want to do something different. You know, you've been through a challenging time and you've come out the other side, and now you are ready for that next challenge in your life. And I feel like perhaps you have in the past relied on other people to help you, to kind of give you a bit of insight as to where you want to go next. But with the Hierophant coming up in the reverse now, it's definitely suggesting to me that you've taken that advice, you've taken it on board, and you are ready to burst into 2023 with that positive, key, you know, Sagittarius energy. You're ready for those next steps into the new month, and with this full moon, and that everything is actually going very well for you, Sagittarius, that you're feeling balanced and focused, and that there is the biggest energy that I'm getting actually from this spread for you, Sagittarius, for the full moon in Cancer, is that everything feels very calm, very balanced. And with the fiery energy of Sagittarius, sometimes we can feel that there's a bit of a conflict maybe coming up that a Sagittarius is maybe trying to move away from or walk away from. But I'm definitely feeling that there is actually a lot of calmness for you during this full moon, which is a lovely way to start off the new year. But when we're thinking about challenges, this doesn't necessarily have to be something huge. It can be something, you know, minor. Maybe it's something that you have been putting off doing. The Seven of Wands can sometimes indicate that there was a conflict within a family member or a friendship group, something like that. So maybe there is just an area of conflict that you want to resolve, but that you're relying on yourself. You're not looking to anyone else. You are confident within yourself that you have the answers that you are seeking, and that you feel that you are able to balance things. You know that you can travel and do things and go off, but you can also come home and be a integral part of your family, your community. You're not afraid to kind of take those chances. But for you, Sagittarius, I'm definitely feeling that for the full moon in Cancer, you're kind of releasing that need to fit someone else's expectation of you, and that you're ready to kind of go into 2023 without any caveats. You're ready to just, you know, go full blast, but with a very calm, easy energy as well. So these are your cards, Sagittarius, for the full moon in Cancer. Okay, so now we're moving on to Capricorn in Capricorn season. So let's see what message we have from the universe. And it says your potential is endless. Well, if you have a Capricorn placement, you probably have always believed that, because Capricorns are very self-reliant and have a great degree of faith in themselves, especially when it comes to their career aspect as well. Okay, wow, so this card is leaping out already, the Hierophant. Okay. And then let us see, what do we have for the Bad Bitches Tarot? We have two cards coming up. Let's do this one. The Knight of Pentacles, lovely jubbly. And then let's see what we have from the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. Well, this card is already coming up. There we go. I find the cards do this sometimes, so they just jump out, or one is already going the wrong way and it is calling to me saying, pick me, like my kids. Pick me, mummy, pick me. Anyway, and digress. So for you, Capricorn, for the full moon in Cancer, your potential is endless. Yes, Capricorn, you're already feeling that. And when we have the Hierophant coming up, what this is suggesting to me is that there is someone in your life who is acting as a teacher or a tutor, or someone who is giving you that mentor status. So you're not afraid to look to someone else to help you get what you want. And I think a lot of signs and placements can struggle with that sometimes, but for you, Capricorn, it's very easy, because you have that self-belief that you know that if you're asking help from someone else, it doesn't detract from you or your abilities. It just means that you are able to further yourself even more by taking on someone else's knowledge as well, by seeing how someone else has succeeded and kind of copying them, seeing what their path is in order to help yourself, which is very admirable. With the King of Pentacles, the Knight of Pentacles, what I'm really seeing is that for you, Capricorn, as we move into 2023 with this full moon, that you're really moving forward in terms of finances. So you've kind of got to that point where you know what it is you want to do, you know what you are good at, or where your skill set lies, and you have a plan of action. The Knights are all about movement. It's not necessarily very apparent from the illustration on the Bad Bitches Tarot, but Knights have that very almost like a teenage headstrong energy of, yes, I know what I want, I know how I'm going to get it, and I'm not going to let a certain worldview hold me back, which is very exciting. And then when we have the the Seven of Cups, I always call this the Six of Cups, no, the Seven of Cups, we have this idea of choices, and this card has actually come up before for a couple of other signs, and I think it's no surprise really, because as we go into a new year, we're always thinking about choices. What are our options? What is open for us? Where do we want to head to next? And for you, Capricorn, I would definitely say that what you want to be thinking about is, what can I do with my potential? And you're already half the way there, because you're not afraid to ask for help. You've got your plan of action, and now you just need to set yourself on that path. And although this card can have both positive and negative context to it sometimes, what I'm seeing for you, Capricorn in particular, is that you're really, you know where it is you want to go. You know, this card is coming up because you've already made that choice. That's why it's coming up for you at the end of this little mini spread here, because Capricorns are very focused and they know what they want. So for this full moon for you, Capricorn, we're definitely on the right path when it comes to career and finances, which is very, very exciting. So these are your cards, Capricorn, for the full moon in Cancer. Moving on now to Aquarius, let us see what your message is from the universe. Okay, so our card is saying, to lead the orchestra, you must turn your back on the crowd. Well, Aquarius is very concerned with the collective and sometimes at a cost to themselves. So that is an interesting little message to come up for you, Aquarius, for the full moon in Cancer. So let's see what card we have coming up for you. Ooh, so we have the Tower in the reverse. We have, let's have a look. Ooh, we have the Emperor. And then we have Temperance in the reverse. Okay, so for you Aquarius, I would say that you have gone through a period of change recently and things are kind of starting to settle down a little bit more. Obviously with the Tower in the reverse, this can sometimes suggest that you have been resisting change, but with Aquariuses, they're not a sign that actually finds change that challenging. You know, they're very in tune with the collective, with the world around them, and they're very open to going with the flow and changes and having that sense of wider communication, not just with themselves, but with the world around them as well. So this is suggesting to me that there has been a period of turbulence, but that is now settling down. And with the masculine energy of the Emperor, that you are now looking for ways to put structure back into your life. So this can sometimes be a bit challenging for Aquarius placements, but I'm definitely feeling that you have gone through this difficult time and you're now restructuring a bit. So we're using the divine masculine energy of the Emperor card in order to figure out where we want to go next and how we kind of want to rebuild after a period of things being challenging. And with Temperance in the reverse, this is suggesting to me that perhaps there are things that are still out of balance. So even though Aquarians may be feeling very calm and very satisfied with the outcome of this period of change, even if it was challenging, there is still a struggle to find balance. And this card in the reverse can also suggest that Aquarians, Aquarius placements are currently feeling like they don't want to find that balance, that they want to do it on their own, they want to find their own way. And I think that that ties in nicely with the message that we heard initially, that we're kind of turning our back on how we would normally have behaved, on how we would normally be in terms of the collective. So with the full moon in Cancer, what we really want to be thinking about for you Aquarius is how are we rebuilding after a period of difficulty and turbulence, and where can we find balance, and why are we resisting balance? You know, are we trying to not give someone else the upper hand? Do we feel that if we maybe forgive someone else in a certain situation in order to move on from it, that we're betraying ourselves? But obviously forgiveness is a gift that we actually give to ourselves, so we want to be looking for the balance in this situation as we are rebuilding. But these are your cards, Aquarius, for the full moon in Cancer. And then lastly, coming on to Pisces, let us see what we have got. Our message from the universe is, you always pass failure on the way to success. And I think this can be a difficult message sometimes for Pisces to receive, because with a Pisces placement, you can often feel very attacked, very emotionally targeted by the universe, and we don't always want to be derailed by failure, because obviously failing at something teaches us how to get better at something. Okay, so we've got the Four of Swords in the reverse, and then we have the Knight of Swords in the reverse, and then we also have, oh, these ones are upright, so we'll go for this one, the Four of Cups. So what I'm definitely feeling for Pisces placements for the full moon in Cancer is that perhaps we are struggling at the moment a little bit, and certainly I would say the career aspect of our lives, where we know what we want to do, we know what we're trying to make happen, but for whatever reason it's kind of just not really getting there, and that we really want to be looking at the mentality behind it, especially with the Four of Swords in the reverse, and really be thinking about how can we set ourselves free. Because often when we think about something, we feel like a failure to an external person. Our failure could be a success, because especially those of us with Pisces placements, we can be very, very hard on ourselves. So we really want to try and shy away from that. And especially with the Knight of Swords in the reverse, you know, don't give yourself a headache to, you know, look at that energy even in the reverse. You know, we want to be thinking about how can we set ourselves free from these mental prisons that we give for ourselves. And all of these cards for this full moon reading for you Pisces placements, they all have an element of dissatisfaction to them. And I think sometimes because, certainly for myself as a Pisces sun, when you live too much in your own world, your own little dream world, which can be a lovely place to be and open up a lot of possibilities, sometimes it can mean that the real world at its most mundane feels very unsatisfactory. And we want to try and move away from feeling dissatisfied with things, because that is not going to lead us to a path of success. We have to accept that magic and mundane exist side by side. And certainly with the Four of Cups in the reverse, this is giving me a bit more of a stronger positive energy, really, because this card in the reverse is suggesting that maybe you've been overlooking certain things, maybe certain jobs or certain options, because you feel they're too boring, they're not giving you that kind of you know, artistic, creative passion that you want from them, but sometimes doing the boring thing is what you need to do in order to get to the exciting thing. And I think dreamy Pisces placements, we can sometimes feel, obviously we have the sign of the two fishes looking in different directions, two different directions at once. Sometimes we have to do the boring thing in order to get to the exciting thing. And when we're thinking about these sword placements, you know, we want to be talking to ourselves nicely. I think having these sword placements what am I talking about? Sword cards, Four of Swords and the Knight of Swords coming up in the reverse. This is really encouraging us to look at our belief system, especially on the full moon in Cancer, this wolf moon. You know, we want to howl at the moon and we want to release, we want to really, really let go and not stay stuck in whatever situation we're in that we mentally have put ourselves there, which is an incredibly Pisces thing to do. So we want to be on this full moon, we want to be accepting that in life things are happening for us, not just to us, you know, that we have the power and the control of that narrative. So if you feel like you're not being successful in the way that you would like to be, then how can you use those failures, those lessons to transform them into success? These are your cards, Pisces, for the full moon in Cancer. Okay, so there we have it, our first full moon reading for 2023. I hope you have a beautiful full moon. If you would like to know any more about tarot or astrology, or have any further questions about the readings in general, please do comment down below, and I will see you in another video soon. Remember, of course, that you can book a reading with me privately if you would like, and also order the daily tarot journal from Girl Ascending. All information obviously in the comments below, but I look forward to connecting with you soon, and happy full moon. Bye.